Yo, how are we doing, everybody? So today I'm doing a guide on Chapter 3 Part 2, The Land of Sand and Sun. So this is going to be the battle guide specifically for how to get around to defeating Plinius, hopefully without losing too many of your own units. I've done a few different strategies. The one that I found the easiest is what I'm going to be showing off here. Basically what the idea is we're just going to be moving everybody on the right side on over to the left. I haven't really done anything crazy customization wise. The only things I've done is like up my magic defense, I think, by a little bit. Hopefully, because as you can see here, like, they are all mages we're fighting against, so extra magic defense does make it easier to live a little bit, so I figured, you know, that would help. But actually, after doing all of this, I can see it wasn't really necessary, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Because yeah, if you can at least get Frederica a high enough level, you can use that flame shield ability, and the flame shield just makes you immune to fire, which yeah, half the mages use fire, half the mages use ice. Starting off on the left side, that's mostly where the fire users are, except for Plinius. Plinius uses ice. Then all the other mages on the right side are the ice ones. There are two healers that are walking around. They won't be doing any attacks themselves, but yeah, if you're trying to fight the mages, especially at a distance, you'll be at quite the disadvantage as they have their two healers to your one. So yeah, you got to be really careful about how you divvy up your units so that you are not trading blows back and forth. Which again is why I've decided to just move everybody over to the left. I'm trying to make sure that like no one on my team dies, but unfortunately I can't control the guest unit. The guest unit is kind of crazy. He's just gonna run in there doing literally whatever he wants to do, and I can't make him not. So yeah, he's gonna die, but you know, he's a guest character, so it literally doesn't matter if he dies or lives. So I don't really mind. I do throw the fire shield on him just because it helps him last a little bit longer, and that way, you know, obviously things will be a little bit easier for me. As far as unit placement goes, before the battle started, it probably would have been better to have my healer already on the left side. I was trying out a different strategy before, and I forgot to change that. So yeah, if you have your healer already on the left side, that might make things a little bit easier for you. Because yeah, Coratin over here, like, he gets attacked, and there's nothing you can really do about it because his speed value is so low. The enemy will just walk up and hit him every single time. So having the healer at the start, able to immediately heal him after he takes that damage, is pretty nice. So yeah, definitely learn from my mistake there. But yeah, now that I have, well, almost everyone here on the left side, pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm just grouping everybody up. I'm trying to make sure that my units aren't being targeted by 3 different mages. It's okay if they're being targeted by 2, but 3, I feel like there's a potential chance that I will just get bodied by 2 of those attacks, because they do about like 40 damage per, and most of my characters only have like 70 to 80 HP, so depending on if their damage is on the high ends, my characters could just immediately die before they get to take their next turn. And thankfully, yeah, whenever you're moving around, you can see the little red lines connecting to your character, and that lets you know like how many enemies are targeting me. And specifically in this battle, you can see that dark red line. The dark red line, that's Plinius. And Plinius is the heaviest hitter, being the boss unit on this map. But another thing to take note of though, because we're fighting all mages, they specifically have the issue of not being able to do multiple attacks. They can really only hit you once, and then they have to wait to rebuild their TP, and then they can attack again. So you don't have to be too worried as you're like going in to the enemy forces, which is literally what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get the positioning just right. I don't want to get hit by too many attacks, but I do want the enemy to come closer to me, so that way I can then start doing damage. The archer character is really good. Huette, I think is her name. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Because she is recommended, but you don't have to use her. You could use the shield, the tank guy instead. Obviously, he is nowhere near as useful, so I would not recommend it myself. But yeah, you know, if you want to make things even more difficult, then by all means you can. But yeah, I'm really liking Huette here. Her being able to deal damage from such a far distance is really nice. The only tricky part, which I'm sure you can see here, is that elevation does play into like which unit she can target. So you do have to keep that in mind, especially because the mages like to use this building all the way on the left side. They like to hang out there, throwing down their ice spells, or maybe supporting the other mages by healing them. And it's very hard to attack up there yourself. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just going to be big chillin'. I can use the flame shield again I was talking about with Frederica, but I'm honestly not too concerned about anything else. Like, I'm literally just going to chill here, let the enemy units come into me. If they're at lethal, then I definitely don't mind like walking forward and finishing them off. But I do want to be careful here. Like, you don't want to just immediately run in there. As you could see when I was targeting that enemy, there was so many red lines on me. So it's like, yeah, I can go there, but there's a pretty good chance I will die after I attack him because there's just too many mages. And I do lose the guest character there, but again, super not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward a bit because I really am just kind of like letting the enemy units get close to me. And yeah, once they're that reckless, where they're coming into my group, it makes it so much easier for me to do what I want to do. And then also really interesting, the new character, the Ice Mage we have, he can silence people. And if they're silenced, they literally cannot cast any spells. Like, they become completely useless. So that is very strong. Try to take advantage of that if you can. But yeah, once the mages are coming into me, that just means that's one less unit that they get to attack me, and that makes it easier for me to then start moving forward, because instead of being like, oh, there's 4 red lines on me, so I will most likely die before I get to take a turn again. Instead, it's like, oh, instead of 4, it's 3, and then slowly it goes down to 2 to 1. I do kind of forgo grabbing some of the spoils on some of the enemies I defeat. Just because, again, there's just so many lines being like, yeah, you can pick up this item, but at what price? Like, you have to consider the damage you're going to be taking for trying to pick that up. If I had someone that had the flame shield going where they were immune to damage, I wouldn't have minded. Because again, you know, if you have 3 lines coming towards you, most of the time that's only going to be 1 or 2 where they can actually do fire damage, and the other will do ice damage. So if you have that flame shield, you're not going to die. Like, you're good to go. You can be a little bit more risky. But yeah, again, they moved into me, which made it really easy to kill them. And then again, they have 2 healers. So while it looks like, oh no, you know, they still have like 5 guys walking around besides the boss, only 3 of them are actually attacking. The other 2 are only using heals and like buffing. So I'm just gonna fast forward a bit as, yeah, the enemies once again, I'm not going into them, I'm letting them come into me. And so yeah, they go ahead and do their attacks, and now that, you know, their numbers are lower, it's much more manageable, and I don't mind actually starting to move out and attack myself. Also worth noting again, when these mages cast their spells, their TP is lowered, and with that lowered TP, they can't cast another spell in the next turn. So you don't have to worry as much about counterattacks as they're attacking into you. They're actually at their weakest right after they've attacked. The only reason why we couldn't go out before was because, you know, the multiple layers of how many enemies there were. So we were like, oh, okay, this guy's attacking me, but if I go too far forward, I will get hit by like 3 or 4 attacks. So yeah, as long as you do it in waves, pretty much like how I was doing here, you'll be able to very easily destroy everyone, and then once there's only like 2 healers left in the boss, you can just run all over the map, doing whatever you want. Again, do take note, the boss himself does deal very big damage, like 50 damage right there on Anna. So yeah, do make sure you have your HP up. You don't want to, you know, start to get sloppy right at the very end and end up losing a character and losing out on some experience. Because yeah, there's no permadeath, you don't have to worry about that, but missing out on experience is super duper lame, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But yeah, to beat this map, you only have to defeat Plinius. You don't have to defeat every single enemy. So you can try to like capture him, but his AI is literally set to run away from you. So more likely than not, you will defeat almost every enemy on the map. But yeah, that is going to be my guide on a land of sand and sun. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have a different strategy to use yourself, I'd love to know. But yeah, peace. It was fun.